For mobility. So you have to understand that submarines need to be able to get somewhere and then get out of somewhere. So those two things are the most important for them in terms of their survivability. In terms of getting somewhere, you still have the luxury of probably being behind your fleet, you know, and the Fuso spotted me and it became active, so it's like not the best situation for me right now. So you might have the luxury of, you know, trailing your fleet and still sailing, you know, on the surface. But when you get into the thick of battle, like I am now, where I'm potentially behind enemy lines and there's some destroyers actively hunting me, or I need to evade some other ships.
You might want to evade some other ships right now.
Yeah, right now. That means that I need to have enough speed to be able to actually do something. You can see that even when I'm going full speed with my submarine underwater, I'm having a hell of a time escaping an actual destroyer. So this is just for gameplay purposes. You need to have the opportunity to actually have meaningful options to evade. I'm going to run out of oxygen anyway, but this first depth charge will kill me anyway. That's
there's also just a few other questions. So
I wasn't far away.
Yeah, so there was a question, for example, about will you see as a sub other ship sinking, and the answer is yes.
Yes, yes. It can actually force you to change your course, because it can drop on top of you as you're sailing below. So
okay. There were quite a few questions in chat, because obviously in the sort of history of things there were
let's literally not see them, and I am unable to detect them at all. So we don't want that kind of a situation either. So obviously we will be working on those things, but it's a question of first testing the core of the system and then seeing what still needs to be done, rather than you know, having a full design that's ready to go. That's also the reason why we're showing this in this kind of state at Gamescom and even to the press. Ideally, we'd like to show a much more polished version, but because of the need to be able to start testing, we need to make it public now, so that we can give it to people and they can tell us what they think and what it feels like, and that they can provide us with the data that we need to see those behaviors. Cinematically, the feeling is all right, is good enough to show to people, because, you know, you have the hydrophone, you have the hydrophone ping that looks amazing, which is still not a final VFX design, but it already looks really cool, at least to me, for example.
Okay. And what else do we have? Can submarines get hit by CD waves?
Yes, when they are at periscope depth or on the surface, of course they can.
And that's true for all armament, correct?
Yes, although you have to consider the penetration mechanics as they interact with water in the game, so obviously shells slow down. It's not that submarines have any... Oh, you didn't.
I may or may not have crosstalked you.
Oh!
Oh!
What?
Lucky!
What an evil man.
Because they're homing, you can launch one at a right angle and one at a left angle,
yes,
and they'll converge around.
Yes.
I just discovered this just now, and it's amazing.
Yes, and you can technically, if there's a... Hello, my friend. No, you don't. What was I saying?
So there's a question from Battleship Fan. He's asking, how do you propose battleships deal with submarines if they can at all?
So that's the question. We don't have an answer to that yet. We can have a consumable-based either deterrent or solution to this interaction. But we don't have it yet, just because we don't know how players will play submarines yet, and how they will interact with battleships in terms of being a source of incoming damage. Like it's relatively important. Where did you go? It's relatively important. Oh, there you go. To know whether destroyers will be dealing a lot of those citadel hits to submarines, or whether people will be mostly spamming, or whether people will be, you know, firing from flanks, where these incoming sources of damage will be. And then we'll tweak the torpedo characteristics as well, because it's important whether, you know, submarine torpedoes are mostly based on burst damage, or whether they're based on flooding damage or something else.
Okay. Yeah, so guys, please keep in mind that obviously this is still very early, and that's the reason why we're testing this together with you, so we can get all of your input, and we're not sharing like a final product with you that will basically hit the server next week. All of this is still very early on, and we value your feedback very much. So I'm very happy that you're all here and participate and share your feedback and questions. We'll try to answer as many as we can.
What was that?
There's a question, for example, from Frico.
So that's how you can do it, actually. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. What happens if you don't have any air left and the oxygen, basically oxygen runs out? What's going to happen is you will basically be forced to surface.
As visible on stream.
As visible on stream.
What
a perfect
right
timing for a perfect question.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, Evan, to add insult to injury, I'm going to torpedo your wreck.
With your ass.
With my butt.
Are you touching his butt with the torpedo? That sounds very
no,
wrong, and we did not say that.
I believe